unusual thing you're ever going to see with a deck of cards right here. It's a story about a guy named Sam who was a bellhop at a hotel down the street from a place called the 654 Club. That's a lot to remember, but I'll be reiterating this as I talk about this. So this trick will demonstrate exactly what that is, okay? So Sam the bellhop was in the hotel one day when the front doors to the lobby opened up and 4 guys came walking through the front that were dressed rather nicely. In fact, many would say they looked like kings. So Sam walks up to take their bags in the middle of the hotel when they said, Sam, could you do us a favor? Sam looks at his watch. He goes, you know, it's a little early, but I'll see what I can do. They said, could you find our wives, because they should have been here about 15 minutes ago in a separate taxi. He said, I can't. He says, but I did manage to find a couple of brunettes and a couple of redheads down the street. They said, Sam, beautiful, where'd you find those this time of day? He said, the 654 Club. That's the place I mentioned at the beginning of the trick. It's right down the block. Well, they were so impressed with that, they gave Sam a $2 tip for his time. So they're really starting to like this guy, Sam. They said, Sam, can you do us an even bigger favor? He said, you know, it's a little early, but I'll see what I can do. They said, could you find some guys to play golf with us because our wives hate the game? He said, sure. So he took a walk 1, 2, 3 blocks down the street, came back and says, I don't know if I found these guys that are going to play golf, but the confusing part is they're all named Jack, and that gets kind of confusing on the golf cards. They said, Sam, where did you find those guys this time of the day? He said, the 654 Club, that's the place I mentioned, of course. It's right down the block. So they were so impressed with that, they gave him another $2 tip. They go, Sam, could you do an exceedingly big favor for us? He said, sure, but every time somebody says exceedingly big, it normally involves a monetary transaction. They said, it does. Could you cash a $40 check for us from out of town and give us 2 20s out of the till? So he says, you know what? I don't know that I can do that, but the last time I checked, 4 10s actually equals $40. They said, that's fine. We only need 38 of it. Here's a third and final $2 tip. They go, Sam, how old are you? He goes, I don't know what the issue is with my age, but take a guess. The guy goes, oh, about 38. He goes, that's a good guess, but I'm 39 actually. They said, you live around here? He goes, no, I've got a brand new address. It's 1329 West 8th Street. They said, do you gamble? He goes, no, I don't gamble. Are you crazy? I nearly lost everything at the 654 Club. That's the place I mentioned. They said, well, what happened? He said, 2 years ago, poker tournament. The guy across the table from me was sitting at the table with 3 7s and a pair of 8s. They go, wow, that's a full house. No wonder you lost. He goes, that's not why I lost. I had 3 aces and a pair of 9s. I beat that guy. They said, well, why'd you lose? He said, because this guy from Reading named Ron with this fiber optic Chia Pet looking hair rig was sitting at the table with a straight flush. That's why I lost. And that's the story of Sam the Bellhop.